evening and welcome back to 49 News. For our first show of the 2023 spring semester, I'm Serafina Carollo.
And I'm Angelica Sandoval. Tonight, we will be taking a look at things happening on and around UD's campus, while also taking a step back for some worldwide news. 49 News starts right now.
Starting the show off with some UD-related news, early this past Sunday, a fire broke out in UD's offices for the College of Arts and Sciences around 5:30 a.m. on 164 South College Ave. Aetna Hose, Hook, and Ladder Company arrived to the scene promptly to put the fire out. With the firefighters' help, the flames were put out within 15 minutes. Luckily, no one was injured or harmed. Earlier this year, 2 FBI searches were conducted at the University of Delaware. The FBI was reportedly looking for classified documents pertaining to Joe Biden's Senate papers. While multiple boxes of documents were removed from the campus, sources say none of them have been marked as classified. The university has kept the Biden papers restricted from the public for years and intends to keep it that way at least until 2 years after Biden retires from public life, which would be 2026 at the earliest. Curious to see what our crew did over our long winter break? Nicole Travis has the details.
Over this past winter break, some of our crew here at 49 News did some exciting traveling. Ryan went to the Eagles NFC divisional game, Brandon attended various concerts, and Jake visited Puerto Rico. Where else did our crew travel to?
Hey everyone, it's Meg here, and in the beginning of the winter, I did a lot of help with the Christmas lights with my dad because he loves them, and I even went skiing for the very first time, which was a lot of fun. And then in the beginning of January, I actually traveled to Europe with 2 of my best friends. So these first couple clips here are from when we were in Prague, which was our first destination on our trip. And then after Prague, we headed over to Venice, Italy, which was really, really awesome. That's Venice there on the canals, and this is the island of Burano, which is a boat ride away from Venice. And then after Venice, we headed to Florence, which was really awesome. That is the top of the Duomo over there. And we went out into the Tuscan hills. And then last but not least, we went to Rome, saw the Colosseum and the Trevi Fountain, and even went to Vatican City at the end. All right, guys, bye.
This is Natalie from 49 News, and over winter break, my family and I went to Punta Cana. We had a great time there as we enjoyed lots of amazing views, went out to nice restaurants and ate great food, and we did some shopping. We spent most days relaxing by the pool, and we always made our way to the beach. We also went parasailing, zip lining, and horseback riding on our trip. Everything was such a great experience, and we had so much fun. To end our trip, we watched a beautiful sunrise on the beach. And although we were sad to leave, we were happy about all the time that we had together.
This is Sarah Carollo, and over this past winter break, I studied abroad in Paris. I saw the most beautiful sights, ate delicious food, and studied international business management alongside students from a French university.
Hi, this is executive producer Nicole, and unlike my peers, I stayed home this winter. This included babysitting the cutest babies ever, playing with my dogs, and watching my younger sister's wrestling matches.
Stop!
Sean's House has announced their new interim executive director after former executive director, Scott Day, has committed what they refer to as financial malfeasance. Day will be paying full restitution for the wrongdoings he committed in his 15 months as the director of operations at Sean's House. In his place, co-founder Chris Locke will be the acting interim executive director while they search for a permanent replacement. Whether it be going to the gym, eating healthy, or even just improving day-to-day life, many people have started 2023 with New Year's resolutions. Meg Rosser reports.
Once that ball drops and the new year rings in, it is not uncommon to see people talk about how they are going to change with this new year. That's right, New Year's resolutions. And for those first few weeks in January, everyone thinks their life is headed in a new direction. But at this point in the year, are those resolutions withstanding the test of time? On average, for those who make resolutions, 11% of people last 6 months, 14% last at least 3 months, 19% last at least 1 month, and only 11% last less than 1 month. Forbes magazine did a study across several different age groups at the end of 2022 and found some interesting information. That younger generations are more likely to prioritize their mental health and older generations are more focused on physical health. whether it be an excuse to start a new habit or get rid of an old one. There's a lot of mixed opinions on whether or not New Year's resolutions are a good thing.
I feel like they're good. I feel like it's something to motivate you if it's something that you've been wanting to try. I think they're a great way to kind of restart the year, but I feel like they're a little bit hard to goal keep. I think everyone puts so much pressure on the beginning of the year when you can make a goal whenever and stick with it. But I think the fact that everyone's so gung-ho on it at first and it kind of fizzles out.
I think that if you want to make a change in your life, that you should just you could do it any time of the year. I don't think you have to do it at the beginning of the year.
I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's necessary. You should always be trying to make resolutions,
For 49 News, this is Meg Rossler.
You have already received a sneak peek in a previous package, but over winter break, I had the amazing opportunity to study abroad in Paris. The trip focused on business management, and unlike many other study abroad programs, we got to work and form relationships with students our age in France. This past winter session, I attended a study abroad program to Paris, organized by Professor Ryan Sanders. Unlike other study abroad programs, UD students worked alongside Parisians studying at the Sorbonne Nouvelle University to learn about various aspects of international business. The two universities participated in a mock trade mission which highlighted how the EU and America agree and disagree on global affairs.
To have the students choosing a job, and many of them actually made their own business, basically. And so it's a really useful experience in entrepreneurship as well. So I think that was one of the fun things that I thought was neat about how the program has turned out. It's practical hands-on experience for students to practice professionalism, to practice how they see themselves as a professional and a career in a career they think is fun.
As someone who studied abroad in college himself, Professor Sanders understands personally the impacts study abroad can have.
I hope that you guys have that same kind of experience where your world has been completely upended in a positive way by the experiences you get to have when you go abroad.
While it's great to be back on campus, I surely do miss walking the streets of Paris. However, for now, walking past the little French cafe and a beret will have to suffice. I talked to my fellow classmates about their study abroad experience, and it's clear that they miss Paris just as much as I do.
I think what stood out from this trip is it wasn't like a class where we did the same thing every day. We did different things. A lot of the workshops were interactive. We did tours, we did museums, we did everything. And also I think that we got to really bond with our peers on this trip. We got to really get to know each other because we were thrown into this new environment together. And it honestly has been awesome. And I'm just so thankful. I really do think it's stood out from a lot of the other trips that people have been going to.
Sorbonne Nouvelle was honestly an amazing experience to have, and honestly such a partner and aid for us while we were here in Paris. We've never been here before and never been to Paris, so being able to work directly with students, people our age and like-minded individuals that are well-versed in the culture and know what's going on. They're kind of like our own personal tour guides, and being able to kind of have them show us the city and give us the inside scoop made us feel like more true Parisians than ever before.
This unique trip gave us the opportunity to create meaningful connections outside of our country's borders, all while experiencing the beauty and elegance Paris has to offer. I'm Sarah Carolla, reporting with 49 News.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Mink, and this is your sports update. Last Saturday, the men's basketball team secured a senior day victory over the University of North Carolina Wilmington with a final score of 75-66. The team celebrated seniors L.J. Owens and Fred Rulo IV. As for the game, Jameer Nelson Jr. scored a career-high 39 points on 13 of 21 shooting, which earned him CAA Conference Player of the Week. The team will play tomorrow at 7 p.m. against North Carolina A&T. As for the women's team, they recently celebrated senior night also. The Blue Hens honored Demi Burdick, Karis Idom, Watt Martin, Michaela Pippin, and Jewel Smalls. Unfortunately, the girls suffered a 67-55 home defeat. The team will hit the road to Boston next Friday to face off against Northeastern. Yesterday, Delaware baseball used an onslaught of 22 runs on 19 hits to top UMBC with a final score of 22-11. The 22 runs were the most Delaware has scored since 2016. Aiden Kane and Owen Petrick both smashed 3-run home runs to help get the Blue Hens rolling. The Blue Hens embark on a 3-game series at Stenson this weekend, with the first game coming on Friday at 6:30 p.m. As for the softball team, the girls could not get the runners home as they were shut out in a 3-0 loss to George Washington. The team had a runner on base in all 7 innings, but could not come up with the clutch hits. The girls will return to action next weekend when they travel to North Carolina for the UNCG Invitational. Delaware men's lacrosse picked up its first home win of the season with a final score of 16-9 against St. John's. The Blue Hens now improved to 3-0 on the young season. Delaware junior attackman J.P. Ward and freshman attackman Finn Morgan were named CAA Players of the Week. Their next game will be against Villanova on Sunday, February 26 at noon. Delaware women's lacrosse earned their second consecutive win to start the season by defeating Lafayette with a score of 16-12. Delaney McDaniel shined for the Blue Hens with 7 assists, which is tied for 4th most in a single game in program history, while also adding a goal. The Blue Hens will play next at Temple on February 24th at 4 p.m. at Delaware Stadium. Finally, Delaware's women's swimming and diving team will compete in the 2023 CAA Conference Championship at the Hampton Aquaplex in Hampton, Virginia, starting today until the 25th. Delaware went 9-0-1 in dual meets this season. That's your sports update. I'm Ryan Mink. Though the Eagles ended the season with the loss, the team seems to have brought the fan base together in both Pennsylvania and Delaware.
With the Eagles' defeat to the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57, the Eagles season comes to an end. Even with the loss, Eagles fans agree that this season was a success for the team.
I think coming into the season, I think a lot of people were excited about the roster, but I also think that they definitely exceeded expectations. They were very exciting to watch.
There were many memorable moments throughout the season.
I think my favorite moment might have been New Year's Day, actually. It was a great day. We went down with our whole family. It was warm. It was a really, really fun day.
The love for the Eagles is clear in Philadelphia, but how about for the University of Delaware?
Obviously wearing the gear, wearing the jerseys, the sweatshirts. I mean, I have one on right now. It's pretty noticeable around campus, but I think just spreading the Eagles love and getting as many Eagles fans together as you can and just enjoying it.
Even other fan bases agree that the Birds dominate UD's campus.
So definitely when they were playing, there'd be a lot of jerseys going to games. I assume that's going to go down now that the season's over. But some strong fans, especially here in a different state.
With football season coming to an end, expect more Sixers and Phillies jerseys throughout the campus this spring. From 49 News, I'm Ryan Mink.
Thank you, Ryan. Our meteorologist, Laura Daly, could not be here tonight, but she has still sent in a forecaster for the week ahead. Looking at the 5-day forecast, tomorrow we have temperatures rising to a whopping 75 degrees, only for it to drop the next day. That slight drop brings Friday to 50 degrees, however, still very sunny. The weekend starts off cold and cloudy, yet Sunday the weather is set to rise back into the 50s. This up and down trend continues into the beginning of next week, with Monday bringing cold showers. Keeping with the Newark, Delaware related news, for those looking to explore any of the Delaware State parks during 2023, expect an increase in park entry fees. As of March 1st, Delaware residents' vehicles will cost $4 at inland parks and $5 at ocean parks. The cost of out-of-state vehicles will be raised to $8 at inland parks and $10 at ocean parks. The revenue collected will be put towards managing the lands.
5 individuals have been charged with conspiracy to traffic fentanyl and cocaine in the Wilmington, Delaware metropolitan area. The investigation began after a double overdose in Chester County, PA in November 2022. The drug trafficking organization was identified through a multi-state effort involving Homeland Security investigations, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and Chester County detectives. Cocaine laced with fentanyl, and $81,000 were among a huge list of things found in the houses raided over the multi-state effort to stop these drug traffickers. The defendants face a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison if convicted. Delaware's Supreme Court recently announced a shift in the way the bar exam will be administered. The 3-day-long exam will consist of less essays, a lowered passing score, and will be offered 2 times a year in both July and February. After the debate on whether or not the bar exam truly measures law practitioners' knowledge, the new adjustments were made in hopes to further diversify the exam's content. That wraps up the Delaware portion of tonight's show. Angelica and I will return with worldwide news after this short break.
49 News starts right now.
I'm Emma Schneider here with your entertainment news. I'm Laura Daly here with this week's weather update. We could see the clouds are moving in to the area as the night progresses.
I went out to find out what students really think.
Let's see what students at the University of Delaware have to say.
Here's what you can do to keep yourself safe during this holiday season.
Sadly, that is all we have for you tonight on 49 News.
It's back. We're back.
Penn Sport Night, your University of Delaware sports broadcasting show.
That team from Boston. Just because they got a leprechaun don't mean they're going to be lucky.
How has your experience been playing field hockey here?
How magical was the beginning of the season for you guys?
Who are you rooting for this World Cup?
Probably the USA or Scotland.
Watch the play. I don't think I've seen it though. Yeah, you can't guard them. That's not your body.
It's her first time in 10 years, so we're like kind of at the same level.
Welcome to Real Talk. What is the best Halloween candy?
You had to play a song every time you came into the room. What song would it be?
This movie's bonkers. Let's get right into that.
Yeah. Do you guys like pickles?
No.
I love pickles. I'm so excited.
You see Kanye West as this icon, as this person, and he said some anti-Semitic things. So it's like, how do you deal with it?
There's nothing scarier than a student-run television show with an audience of 13.
Do you mean bi-weekly?
Don't they look stunning?
What?
I don't want to hold you back.
Ow!
What now?
McKinley! Shut the hell up!
Let me just leave these babies here, Ricky, while I head on up to the saloon for the hour. I'm just gonna...
I've been your host, Lauren Gapp, and this is the Bi-Weekly Show.
On February 6, government officials confirmed that an earthquake killed more than 41,000 people in Turkey, 5,000 people in Syria, destroyed more than 1,000 buildings, and left more than 1 million people homeless. As of Sunday, the 3-week-long hunt for survivors was nearing an end until another earthquake jolted the next day. Thousands of international and domestic rescue workers, exhausted from the previous weeks of the relief mission, are now rushing to newly collapsed buildings in search of more survivors. Since the pandemic, adults have been purchasing kids' toys for themselves, making headlines this past holiday season. This audience has been responsible for about 1/4 of all toy sales annually. Despite the surge in inflation, many toy companies have recognized this new audience, from Legos creating sets for adults 18 and over to bringing back classics such as Tamagotchi. Student Miriam Ramirez shares his perspective on this topic.
They probably weren't able to have that moment of having something that can comfort them. Now when you're grown up, you actually have the financial stability, so you can actually afford these things. And it kind of feels like you got peace.
Earning the term kidults, the kids at heart not only have increased sales in board games and puzzles, but also Squishmallows, the marshmallow-feeling plush, Legos, Barbies, and a variety of classic toys.
Unlike the weather we've been having here in Newark, more than 42 million people are under winter alerts from California to Maine, with potentially life-threatening travel conditions underway. The snow hitting many major cities is quite the opposite of what is happening in other parts of the country. Temperatures could soar 20 to 30 degrees above average, leading close to 100 daily records. Yesterday, an 85-year-old woman was killed in an alligator attack as she was walking her dog in Fort Pierce, Florida. The 10-foot alligator initially went for the woman's dog, but then attacked her when she tried to save her pet. The dog survived the attack, and the victim has not been immediately identified. As of now, the alligator involved in the incident has been captured by contracted professionals. Since our last show, there has been a lot going on in the entertainment world, so let's recap some big ones. Rihanna performed at the Super Bowl and is expecting once again her second child with A$AP Rocky. Harry Styles took home Album of the Year with Harry's House at this year's Grammys. And Beyoncé is now officially the artist with the most awards won in Grammys history. And Avatar: Way of the Water has taken its spot as the third highest grossing movie of all time, passing up Titanic after making over $2.4 million in the box office. Now on to some more recent news. One of Hollywood's most recognizable couples as of last year has split. Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox are no longer together. Fox originally claimed there was no cheating involved, but is now backtracking some of her claims. It looks as if there may have been some foul play. Paris Hilton and Carter Rum have welcomed a new baby boy into the world, and his name has finally been revealed: Phoenix Baron Hilton Rum. He was born via surrogacy, and Hilton is very excited to have finally started her own family. Several TV series have just been officially renewed for new seasons. Some fan-favorite reality shows like Survivor, The Amazing Race, and The Mole, as well as scripted series like Outer Banks, That 90s Show, and Poker Face. That's a wrap on our entertainment news for this evening, but on the TikTok side of things, new trends keep emerging all over social media. Let's take a deeper look into the Stanley Cup and if students here at UD were influenced to buy one. Natalie Rulio has the story.
Stanley Cups, the new trending drinking cup that many people have a lot to say about. As social media platforms such as TikTok are growing every day, more and more influencers begin to take over our lives. Once a product is used by a famous influencer, it blows up and instantly almost everyone wants to get their hands on that product. The Stanley Cup is one of those items that everyone wants to buy, due to the amount of people posting about them. Let's hear what Professor Bingaman has to say about the effect influencers have on our society today.
So what we see with influencers, they're just modern day tastemakers. They're telling people what's popular, why it's popular, and why they're using a certain product. And this is incredibly effective on platforms like TikTok, where a lot of people are using it. You look at students with a lot of free time over the winter break. They're engaged in this sort of community where they're seeing a lot of things targeted towards them. So you see a product that's popular, you want to think, hey, I want that too. Especially around something like Christmas, where you already have companies and influencers pushing products. Something like a Stanley Cup becomes incredibly popular because it's something tangible that they can ask for Christmas.
Due to the fact that UD students had an exceptionally long winter break, let's see if influencers in the media affected their lives and even convinced them to buy things that they saw trending on platforms like TikTok.
I really think TikTok really does influence because it's such a big platform. Me personally, I love seeing what new influencers are doing to then carry it on in my life.
Over winter break, I spent a lot of time on social media, especially TikTok, and I saw all the new makeup products and Stanley Cups that all the influencers are using, so it makes me just want to buy everything. And I recently just purchased the Stanley Cup, and I love it. A lot of the things that I bought on my Christmas list were inspired by my favorite influencers, like the makeup products they bought and like hair products.
It is clear that students at UD are influenced by social media trends, and everyone wants to get their hands on that new trending item. From 49 News, this is Natalie Rulio.
That's all we have for you tonight on 49 News. Make sure to tune in for our next show on March 8th.
Be sure to follow us on social media at 49 News. It's been a pleasure being your host tonight. I'm Angelica Sandoval.
And I'm Serafina Carollo. From all of us here, have a good night and stay safe.